But I was trying to know the type of a dog that they were keeping. See, each particular dog has its own traits. So if it will happen to be a pit bull, you're not supposed to breed a pit bull when you have children, especially if you don't have time. Normally, there should be a pack leader. They see the father or the mother who has been feeding it and managing it as the pack leader. So if that person is not around, it means that they are in charge. Especially so if you don't treat them very well. So if they were fed and they left their food and they went ahead and attacked somebody, what will come into your mind, the first thing that will come to your mind is that, what were they fed? What is the regular time that because as you talk now, it means that they're about 5 years old. The dog should be around 5 years old. So probably there have been some consistency of the way they were feeding the animals. I even don't know when they brought those two animals to the house. So in the first place, you need to know what type of a dog that the owner was breeding while they were children. In fact, traditionally, the bull mastiffs and the English mastiffs were bred in homes that have children. They are very loyal to their owners and their family members. So if you have children in the house, you don't bring in a pit bull, you don't bring a Tibetan mastiff or Caucasian shepherd or Rottweiler when you don't have time to train those animals.
But apart from training those animals, I mean, unfortunately here in Ghana, we don't train such dogs. All we know is that, oh, I want a dog, I need a dog, and we go for dogs. We don't train them. Like I was saying initially, all we do is that we give them food, we give them water, and then the best thing we do after that is to give them a name. So, like you were saying, we don't even know the temperament of dogs. So the Boer Bulls, the Rottweilers, the German Shepherds, the Caucasians, all these breeds are out there. We don't bring them home and train them. So first of all, tell us about the breed of dogs, the common ones that we have in Ghana. I know that Boer Bulls are common. I know that German Shepherds are common. But tell us about the other common breeds that we have in Ghana.
There are all sorts of animals in the country, all sorts of dogs.
Tell us about their Banahene, hold on for me. Tell us about their temperaments. When we want a guard dog, which one do we go for? If we want a pet dog, a playful dog, which one do we go for? And when we bring them home, how do we train them? How do we introduce them to family members?
That's the most important thing we need to do. If you have children in a house, the best you can have should be a bull mastiff or an English mastiff. The English mastiffs are not common. They are very loyal to family members and children. The bull mastiffs were trained for that one. The Boer Bulls are strong. They are security dogs, and they are independent animals. They also will need to be trained. So when you bring the animal home as a puppy, then you have to make sure that there's proper introduction between you and the dog and even your family members. They're supposed to feed them. You should make sure that they're supposed to know that they are the least when it comes to packing. They are the least in a home. If you don't do that and you are not around, they want to take charge. So if you have a home, you want to protect it. And it's very important any world house to have a dog in the house for security, if not for a pet. There are a lot of robberies around. So the best of the dogs that you should have in a home when you have children should be the Bull Mastiff or the English Mastiff. Apart from that one, if you want to go in for a Rottweiler, or you want to go in for a Boer Bull or a Great Dane or any of the dogs, you're supposed to train them. But we normally don't do it. I need a dog. Sometimes they even do a lot of misbreeding. A Rottweiler, they mix it with a Boer Bull or a Bull Mastiff or whatever it is, because they think the Obenpekama in the near day, I want a very wild dog. For what? If it's solely for security, then you have to make sure that the time you open them for them to come out and feed, and do their normal potting, and then also take care of your home, is well managed, so that they don't come into contact with anybody in your home. If you don't do that and you are not around, it's possible you may face some of this unfortunate situation. I want to believe that they did not feed the animal on time, That is why they will leave their food and come over to where the boy was. But naturally, if you have been doing what you've been doing all the time, they will finish their food first. It could also be that they were hungry and so angry. It could also be that they felt that they were giving attention to the boy more than to them, especially if you happen to be a pit bull. Normally, in a certain region, any dog that's a foreign that looks a little big, this is a bulldog. But bulldogs normally don't attack.
But Kwadwo, one of my main question from the ones that I asked was, how should we introduce them to people in the house, the family, the children, the mother? How do we go about the introduction?
Every dog, most of it, about 90%, takes about 2 weeks before they take charge of the environment. 2 weeks. So when you bring them home, the first 2 weeks, you make sure that every member that is supposed to stay in the house is around. If you bring the animal out in a leash, let them be around. They sniff them, pat them, have their hands around the animal for some time. The first 2 weeks, they're supposed to know the environment in the first 2 weeks. You open them, you're supposed to be around because you are the pack leader with your cane or something. The one you speak to it, you understand that I'm not supposed to do this or do that. You should understand the trait as well. I mean, that's where my concern is. Don't just bring a dog home because you want a dog. Even for security, fine. So the other breeds of dogs, when you have them, you have to make sure that they are well trained and managed and they're obedient and that. So that when you shout, they will understand and stop whatever bad thing they were doing. If you don't do that, you say, oh, I just need a dog, then you will have an issue. So first 2 weeks of bringing a dog in your home, especially when it's mature, you're supposed to make sure that he's well introduced to the members of the home. And don't leave children alone with your dog if they didn't grow up with it. Now, I don't know how old were these two animals. I don't know how old were they. It could be that because of the robberies, he went and bought them from somewhere and brought them in. And so it is assumed that they are there with the boy for some time. But if you have been consistently feeding the probably around 1 o'clock, and the owner was not around, and those in the house didn't feed him or feed them at that same time, they've gone hungry for some time. And so they will not like it.
Banahene, one other question that I have on my mind is the fact that these